any questions, you can ask Deanna. And JK, he's right there. There you go.
Awesome.
Look at that. That was great timing.
We are good to go. All right, question for Coach. Hey, Jared, start us off.
Aaron,
Jared,
wanted to ask you about execution. Had some great moments against Arizona. Weren't able to put the game away. Had a couple opportunities, maybe offensively, to put the game away. Where do you feel like your execution's at heading into game 2?
Well, that's a good question. We'll find out Saturday. We did not finish the game the way that I expected us to last week. And Arizona is a good defense. They did a lot of what I would call exotic things that we had not practiced. In fact, really almost nothing they did in that game was anything we had practiced. They came out in a totally different thing, and it gave us some issues. And we got to do better, though. There's no excuses. We got to execute better. This week, different type of challenge. You know, we know them pretty well. They know us pretty well. But these guys are really good. They've got great players. And so it's going to take all 11 players executing at their best every snap to have a chance to win.
On a different topic, Aaron, if I read your bio right, you were at BYU in 2001 for 9/11. If I remember right.
Yeah.
I know they're doing the tribute with the helmet stickers and that. What does that do to a game, or just what does that add when you have those types of moments, those types of memories?
You know, I try to keep those things separate from the game personally. That's one of those moments in life. Everybody remembers where they were when it happened. Everybody has, their own meanings attached to it. I actually try not to mix that with this game. And so, I'm not opposed to us, having any whatever activities or whatever types of things, commemoration or whatever. I don't know what the word is. I'm not opposed to that. I try to keep those two things in separate boxes, and that way I can focus on doing this job and then also show the proper respect for what a, huge event that was in all of our lives.
Trevor and then Jake.
Hey, Rod, being on both sides of this rivalry, is it viewed differently in Utah or BYU? Like, do each program look at this game differently, or is it all the same?
It's all the same, man. It's the same. I think one of the things I've found in playing and coaching at both places, playing it here, coaching there, coaching again here, is that, you could mix the two locker rooms and you wouldn't really know the difference. Or if, you could transplant them from one place to the other. It's just a bunch of college football players trying to win a game, a bunch of coaches that want to win. The rivalry means something. I'm not saying it's not a big game. It's huge. We all want to win, but it's just there's a lot more in common, I think, than there are differences.
Hey, Aaron, I wanted to ask you about your offensive line. It seemed like against Arizona, they had moments of brilliance and other moments where they struggled. Is that just simply you guys are having to put 3 new starters in there and expecting them to gel right away is maybe a little unrealistic?
That might have been a little bit of part of it, but it had more to do with them and what they were doing. I mean, there was this radical twist games and pressures and corner blitzes and free safety and the boundary linebacker coming one play. They blitzed the field corner like 3 times. I've seen that 3 times in 20 years, and they did it 3 times in one game. The corner from the field. I mean, that's like, it was some wild stuff going on, and we had our hands full figuring all that out, and we had never seen any of it before on film. He came in, I guess he just thought he couldn't beat us doing what he usually does, so he had a pretty radical game plan, and it caused us some problems for sure. So we got to be better, no excuses. Utah could come out and do something that we're not ready for, and we got to be able to adjust better than we did last week.
I talked with Harris LaChance, and he kind of mentioned the fact that you guys have guiding principles with your offense. And he said you guys, at least him as a player, he felt like the offense really relied on those kind of key principles to kind of absorb what Arizona was doing and obviously counter what they were doing.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So once the game hit a stage where it was, a little chaotic, we just decided to go kind of back to our basics and our fundamentals. Decided to make sure we protect the ball. You know, I felt like as long as we protected the ball, we'd have a great chance to win. And so, you know, we don't always want to be that. I don't want to use the word conservative, but we were probably a little more conservative than usual because of the way they were playing on defense, the style of coverages they were running, and the different pressures. We decided let's be smart. Let's take care of this ball and get out of here with a win. And so, again, that's not how we want to play every game, but I think it was the right decision last week. And what Harris is talking about is correct. You know, our basic blocking rules can handle those things, even if we haven't practiced it. And it took us a little while to adjust, but I thought we had that stretch in the middle of the game there, those 3 series in a row where we were blocking them up pretty well and moving the ball. And then just didn't like the way we finished the game. We should have finished better.
Mitch and then Jay.
Coach, you noted moments ago how many similarities in the crossover between the two staffs and the two programs, yet at the same time, the past decade, Utah's had a lot of success, and the common denominator has been Kyle Whittingham. You had a front row view of how he operated in this rivalry. What has made him so successful in this thing?
Yeah, I was there for 6 of the first 9 of this streak, whatever. And he's a great coach. It starts there. He's a great coach, and this game's a huge deal to him, and he makes it a huge deal to the whole program. And you know, we have to match that. We got to match that. But he's an outstanding coach, and that's why they're good. He's leading that ship.
Is there ever a concern about balancing, like getting too emotional into the game? And I mean, is that something that kind of, hey guys, keep it in check. You got to keep the motion still, just stay according to the plan. Is that something you talk to the guys going into games like this, just balancing out those emotions?
Yeah, I think that's a big part of football in general, and especially in a rivalry game. You know, you've got to be sort of, you know, on that razor's edge where you're, you know, emotionally you're charged up and you're, you know, intense. You've prepared for the game and you're ready to go emotionally, but at the same time, you don't lose your mind and go out there and do a bunch of wild stuff. I mean, you got to execute, especially as an offensive player. You've got to execute your assignment the way you've been coached to do, with the technique you've been coached to do it with, and that takes poise. And so, you know, there's a balance there that you got to find as a player.
Jay, go ahead.
Aaron, you just talked about the streak, and one of the common denominators is just turnovers. BYU's offense is turnovers. Is that something you don't talk about, or is there something you can do to cut down on those, or how do you go about preparing for what almost always happens in this game?
Yeah, we're talking about it, and not necessarily in regard to the past games, because, you know, past games have nothing to do with this game. But you're right, that was a factor the last time we played them. You know, we threw 2 pick sixes and had a fumble. They gave them a short field in the red zone. Just gifted them 3 scores. So, but I'm not really harping on that with our team. But what I am talking about every week is, you know, winning starts with not being yourself. You know, you can't be an explosive offense and score, you know, points if you don't have the ball. If you're giving the ball to the other team, you can't score, and then B, you're often just giving them points. And so, you know, we talk about it every day. Taking care of the football is number 1 priority of our offense, and it'll be the same this week.
Okay, let's go, Sean. Last question.
That maybe bleeds a little bit into my last question, Aaron, because with the benefit of having a couple days to kind of look back at your QB1's performance in week 1, how would you kind of grade out Jaren and how he did, and also fully cognizant of the fact that this was still also only week 1, no matter how good or bad or in between somewhere he may have been?
Yeah, I was really pleased with how he played. I thought he played very well. You know, we started out the game first play of the game, threw a good ball. It's a pass Gunner would usually catch. Unfortunately, we didn't complete it. Then had a tough little stretch there where I think he started out like 1 for 5 or 1 for 6, and most of those plays, something went wrong in the play, either with our execution or with the defense doing something that we hadn't seen before, weren't ready for, that kind of, caused him to get off that start. But if you look at it again, what he did in those times is he took really good care of the ball. Like, he never put it in jeopardy. He was giving people a chance without putting the ball at risk. And then he hit a stretch there in the middle of the game where I think he went 8 for 9 somewhere in the middle of the game there, led us to 3 scores. And if he takes care of the ball like that, and then we can just keep improving our execution, especially as we're playing teams where we can have a little more information about game plan and what we're going to see that Saturday, I think he's just going to get better every week. And it's one game, so I'm not, I don't want to get too high or too low, but I was really pleased with how he played. And the last thing I'll say is, I call the quarterback on the phone every series, and I've had experiences in the past where you talk to your quarterback on the phone and what he's seeing and what I'm seeing aren't the same thing. And that's often the case with quarterbacks who are making their first start or just haven't played a lot. They get freaked out, especially in a game like that where there was all these different things than we had prepared for going on. And in each case, he could tell me what he saw on each play, and it was the same as what I was seeing. And so the fact that he had that kind of poise and that kind of recall of the plays, makes me confident that he's just going to keep improving.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach. You're good to go.
Thanks, guys. Sorry you had to wait. Apologize for that.
All right. Any other questions for us?